Hey everyone, I'm Shaleia.
And I'm Jeff.
Welcome back to our channel. So this video came actually from a few requests actually based off of our previous video, one of our previous videos called, it was like Twin Flames and Boundaries. I'm going to link it right up here somewhere.
Link.
And you can check out that video where we talk about Twin Flame and Boundaries, where this story originated from, and so I guess I'll just get right into it. It's really weird. I guess we don't really talk about our own personal story, like, you know, in this way.
We used to do Twin Flames IRL, and you get to see the personal story unfold. So I think we'll be okay sharing this interesting story.
I think I exploded on camera.
You've yelled at me on camera before. We had a fight.
Right, we have like a playlist called Twin Flames IRL that, you know,
it's a schlumping around.
We did a year ago. So if you want to see us like a year ago, and you know, just whatever, it's more candid. But anyway, that's different than like us talking about our own personal journey, I guess. But so yeah, the story goes was, you know, in the prior video I talk about how Jeff put a boundary, or we were putting boundaries on each other, and I basically, you know, this is when we were living in Hawaii. We had an office like that its windows were in our living room. So this wasn't outside. I'm sure some of you thought I was like crazy climbing through his window from the outside. It was actually like from the inside, because we had a screened-in lanai, or
it's a porch, Hawaii porch.
And you know, our office was there. It's hard to explain, but basically, if you look at our old previous videos, you can kind of figure out the situation there of that layout. And I can't remember quite what happened. This was just before we were in Harmonious union. So, you know, Jeff and I have been officially in Twin Flame union for 3 years now. And that, you know, that first year we were not in Harmonious union, although we were talking every day, together every day. I moved in with him like that summer in Hawaii, and you know, we were figuring things out, you know, and we had ongoing weekly support from our spiritual teacher who taught us the mirror exercise to help us with our union and everything. She must have gotten so annoyed, like it was like basically like a couple bickering. You know, it wasn't quite like that, but, you know, she helped us resolve a lot of upsets. I can't even tell you the tools that she gave us. We wouldn't be together if it wasn't for her love, her help, and her tools.
It was God through her that provided this.
Right, it was God through her.
If not her, God would have provided another. God always provides.
There would have been something, it would have come up. We would have had some saving grace.
Right.
So my point is that when we were approaching our 1 year of being together, shit got really crazy. And crazy in the sense that some of the deepest and darkest upsets were coming up in both of our lives. And for me, I know I guess people really want to hear a little more of my story end of it, and how I climbed through Jeff's office window and screamed at him. Well, that's not like I'm crazy, but he was, for the past couple days prior to that, he wanted to be left, you know, the F alone. And he shut himself up in the office, locked the door, and there was no way for him to lock the window.
It locked from the outside in the living room way. And,
you know, it was really hard for me. Like, I personally didn't like living in Hawaii. That's a whole other thing. I don't need to get into it. And some people are going to be like, what? Anyways, my point is, I didn't like living there. Okay, there's many things. I'm not going to get into it. And I was feeling, I didn't feel comfortable. I wasn't happy. I didn't want to walk around outside. I wasn't comfortable, although we had a beautiful apartment, or whatever, you know. I didn't like where I lived because of the other tenants in this big house. I wasn't comfortable. We had essentially no privacy where we lived. And I was starting to feel alone because he was just by himself for like days and days, you know, in the office with his computer and his bed. And he'd come in to like go to the bathroom or fix something to eat. He would hardly say anything to me, and then he'd go back on his merry way. And I basically lost my shit, and I was like, that's it. You know, I can't stand this. And like there were definitely intervals where we would fight before. But for me, like the biggest trigger that was coming up was that I saw it, first off, I saw it as this is the beginning of the end. You know, this is like, this is it. This is our relationship is ending, and I don't want it to end because I know in my heart of hearts I really love him. And you know, I put everything on the line to be with him, like everything. And I don't believe that I made a mistake in the choices that I made in order to move to Hawaii and be with him. And, you know, I also felt like this feeling of separation was just awful. And it made me really ill to my stomach. And I didn't like that. And the biggest part was what him taking space was reflecting in me was like all my father issues, because I never had, although I had a father present up until I was like 8, 9 years old, he wasn't ever present. He was never really there.
And for me, it was all my mother issues coming up. The overbearing mother who was never not there.
Right.
And when she was there, she was annoying.
Yeah, so we were reflecting the core upsets that the opposite sex parent that, you know, we had. And so for me, it was like, well, you know, my dad wasn't there. My dad said he loved me, didn't really love me. He didn't support me. He was a cold bastard, and he left us in a financially destitute. All these things, right? And I'm thinking, oh my God, you know? And just the fact that he wasn't present, abandonment, all of that stuff. And that was the core piece, I guess, was the abandonment. And then I finally, like, you know, I wanted to talk to him, and Jeff didn't want to talk. And then I finally just got so angry, just like, I just lost it. I started, like, screaming, and I, like, you know, it was like punching through the window, knocking on it, and then I finally like tore the window open and off, and I like jumped through, and I started like screaming and yelling at him. And I think we like rolled and wrestled on the floor, trying to like, it was really bad. And I'm sure our neighbors were like wondering if they should call the cops or something, because like I said, there was like no privacy there. And
we had like a moment like later on, like, you know, like, is this okay? And I was like, no, like, you know, we have to be really proud of ourselves that we're willing to go here and be vulnerable and heal these deep childhood wounds.
We went to like the scary place inside where you think like bloody murder is on everyone's face.
We went there and we stayed there and we healed it. And we did it unabashedly and all at once.
We've never had an episode like that ever again in our life, like since being together.
Act on a little more balanced.
We've healed it.
Now, in a little more balanced and easy way. But
it's balanced way better now, but
that was coming up. It had to
you
get
know,
healed.
and so you know, he was obviously really mad that I climbed through the window and he tried to escort me out, and that's when I basically like, I don't know, I was like sucker punched him or something, pushed him around, and then he pushed me, and then we're like rolling on the ground and like screaming and swearing at each other. And then finally, it was just like, neither of us were going to give up. And then we just stopped, you know, I think, like, we just stopped. And I was, you know, really upset. And I don't know, I think crying. I was crying at least. Or maybe I was too angry to cry, but I was just really upset. And, you know, I wanted him home. That was how I felt. Like, I'm tired of you. Like, this is really hard on me. It's been, like, 2 weeks of this kind of, like, seclusion. Yeah, it was more than a couple of days. It was, like, 2 weeks. And, you know, like, he was in a really deep depression, and it triggered a depression in me. And, oh, that was awful, man. Awful times. I don't even know why people want to hear this story. To me, it just feels like awful times.
Well, I think that a lot of people are going through this too, and they need to relate, and they need to know that we have been there too, and that there is another side to this, and we're living there.
So yeah, I guess this is the other side. So anyways, we were lying on the floor, and we were done fighting, And, you know, Jeff was on top of me, and we were just, like, hugging and holding each other and just, like, holding space. Nothing sexual happened, just, so you know, just get that out of your mind. But we were just in a really healing space, like, okay, like, something, like, crusted off, and it was the, you know, I'm choosing to unconditionally love and accept you a little bit more. Whereas before, neither of us did. We were still trying to, like, control each other, to, like, make each other feel good. And, you know, I realized, like, I just need this unconditional love and acceptance right now on, like, both sides. And I needed compassion, you know, on his side, where, like, okay, like, I'm okay with, like, giving you space, and I've given you, like, hours and hours of space, like, for the past 2 weeks, but you have to understand, like, this is really hard on me, too. And, like, I need you, too, you know, like, you need to be left alone. Well, I don't like being left alone very often, or very long. I mean, I can be left alone, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's different when you're, like, in love and in a relationship, and you're, like, living with them, and they, like, don't want to have anything to do with you, and you're like, what the hell did I do?
Twin flames are high maintenance.
It's true. Twin flames are high maintenance. And so, after that big blowout, there was, like, the next 4 weeks was just really, we were in a very delicate and fragile place. And, you know, we were slowly coming together again, and, you know, we were spending more time together.
That's eventually what led us to Harmonious Union, isn't it?
What do you mean?
This story.
I guess.
This was the core upset.
And we started reading together, the Saint Germain books, we were reading those together, and watching movies, and just, like, very gently, easing our way back into being with each other, because we were both still, like, really edgy and, you know, and really upset and
but
really wounded.
Like, that's what led us together, and, like, not long after we were inseparable. We spent, like, every minute of every day together.
Right.
We,
and
like,
then
woke up at the same time, went to sleep at the same time, did all the same things together all day.
I think, like, the day, you know, there was definitely a definitive day where we knew we were in harmonious union, and we were past that. And it was really when Jeff finally, like, emerged from being alone and, you know, chose to join me again, and I chose to join him again. And there was just this inner knowing inside of each other, and we acknowledged it, that we're never going to leave each other. And we're never going to be separated. We're never going to be apart. And we're always going to choose to love each other. And we're always going to choose to accept each other unconditionally. And we're always going to, no matter what, choose us. And know that no matter what happens, hell or high water, we can heal it. You know, like, that was definitely a time in our life, that story I was just telling you, where I was planning on buying a ticket. I was, like, inches away. I was like, I gave it a time frame, like, if our relationship doesn't get better in a week, I need to go. Like, this is very unhealthy. This is not good. I don't want this. And if we have to figure it out from doing a long distance relationship again, or take a lot of space, sure, I'll go that route. Though I don't prefer it. It's really expensive to have to do this that way, you know.
I told her I'd be in the next plane, you know, with her.
Yeah, he told me that, and I was like, that's not going to prove anything, because you're still going to be a jerk. Whatever, right? And it was very sweet, but, I mean, we still weren't resolved yet. But when that 1 week window came to that day, that exactly, like, 7 days, it was over, it was done. And we were both out of our depression, out of our upset, and we were both together in harmonious union. Like, it doesn't sound like a big sparkly story where, I don't know, like, cannons are going off and, you know, cake is there, but that was really the day we were in harmonious union. We knew.
And
we're never going to separate.
Shortly after that, we realized that now that we have a foundation to live our lives on, it's time to build our purpose together. It's time to discover our real work, our real purpose.
Exactly.
And that's what you see here today, you know, this channel and these, websites and this body of work and the book and the courses and everything that we offer as a school. Everything that we offer and give to you is a result of what we received, through that time, through all of this effort.
Mm-hmm.
And we give this willingly to you in the best way we can.
Exactly. So you don't need to come to the point where you're like crawling through windows, screaming at each other, rolling around on the ground.
We did that for you.
We did that for you guys. You can take the more gentler, less aggressive route and, learn how to get into harmonious union.
You see us pretty gentle on camera, but we're actually very, very intense, passionate people.
I think that's, indicated in our videos. We're pretty passionate.
Alright, cool.
So, yeah. Great. Well, is there anything else you want to add to the story? If you guys have any questions about, this story or what we were just talking about, feel free to put it in the comment box below.
Take the easy route. Come to Ascension School instead.
Yeah, really. Don't take the long route, man. Like, you don't want to be a year together and not in harmonious union. Like, that's rough. Living together, not in harmonious union for 1 year. Whew, it was hard. It was hard. You don't have to do that. I'm telling you, you can do the easy way, just like what Jeff was saying. Like, we teach it. We share how to not go that harder route, how to do it the easy and the fun way.
Very good. So please like our video and subscribe if you haven't already. Share it around. Do all that good stuff. And we'll see you in more videos.
All right, sounds good.